welcome to the 15th episode of the Knitting Spring podcast. Sorry I've been away so long. About 3 weeks ago or so, I threw out my back. And, well, I'm not really sure what I did, but I was in a lot of pain and I had to miss a few days of work. And they put me on some medications that made me a little loopy. So I've been trying to recover from that and just couldn't be on camera. So I'm back this afternoon and so happy to see you all. And all right, here we go. I think I'm a little rusty and still on medication. So I may be a little loopy and I think looking at the camera, I look a little puffy. So first things, okay, I am Cheeky Monkey on Ravelry, Cheeky Monkey 1 on Instagram. I'm Tonya on Goodreads, and Cheeky Monkey on Elo. I did start an Elo account, just like everybody else, just in case we all move over to that new social media app. And all the show notes are at knittingspring.com, and I have a ton to talk to you about today since it's been I think it's actually been 4 weeks since I last recorded, and I'm so glad to be back and feeling much better. I can at least sit in a chair. Sitting was the worst for me with my back. The best thing for me was laying down. So when I got home from work, I was the first thing I wanted to do was just to lay on the bed and relax my back. Oh, believe it or not, walking was not too bad. It sort of helped. So I don't know if it was a muscle spasm I was having. I still haven't gotten the results back from the doctor, so I'm waiting to find out from that. So I'll let you guys know. Okay, first thing, I have a finished object. And you might know what it is because it's been a while, but I finally finished my ribby sweater out of Stellar Banshee by Wool & Vine. And this just shows off the yarn beautifully. And I just love, let me see if I can put this up close. If you can see all those different pops of color in there, it's just absolutely gorgeous. Really like it. I still haven't woven all the ends yet. Excuse me. Sorry, I told you I might be a little tongue-tied. I haven't woven all the ends yet. Woven in all of the ends in yet. And I still have to block it. I just haven't been able to. I still am having trouble getting on the ground to stretch this out a little bit. I want the neck to be a little bit bigger. And then it's ready to go. So I'm very excited. So you can see the last time I talked to you guys, I was here. I finished the rest of the body and the ribbing. And then I ended up doing short sleeves. And I didn't do the ribbing all the way around. Underneath, I just did plain stockinette stitching. But I think this turned out really beautifully. It is so super soft. I mean, it's better than fleece or soft sweatshirt material, but that's what it really feels like. I love those sweaters that I can get into that are just so comfy, cozy, and even if it's a short sleeve, it's still just heaven to wear. I'm just dying to be able to wear this every day, and it's nice and long. And I even left, I even knitted just maybe an inch short because it's superwash, and I know it'll stretch out a little bit in the length, which is good. I really wanted that. I was planning for that. And I just honestly couldn't be happier. Just absolutely beautiful. And you just see all these concentrations. And you guys know how much I love pink. So just these pops of pink and the gray. And when it's in the sunlight, let me tell you, I'm in my apartment. But when you're in the sunlight with this, it just it doesn't have any stellene in it. But it just sparkles with all these beautiful spring colors. I'm just in love with it. I could just go on and on. The only thing that I would change when I'm making this sweater is that for me, I thought the neck, when I put it on, comes a little close. It's too much of a crew neck for me. So I would add on stitches. And the picture doesn't look like that, but I'm not sure. I went up several needle sizes and I still couldn't get the neck. So I think I would have to make the neck I'll add more stitches on, or maybe I misread something, but I did the neck twice, and I really can't imagine that. Let me take this hanger off so it's stopped being in front of my face. I I know I followed directions exactly, but it's just, it gets too close for me, and I would like it to be a little wider. You can see on this, I have a little bit of a wider neck, and it's a scoop neck, and that's one of the types of sweaters I like to do, is a scoop neck sweater. But that's coming up. So really, really happy with this, and it was just, I don't know what took me so long to knit it, but I guess I just had a lot of things going on. Sorry, didn't mean to throw that. I just threw that on my bed. And okay, so let's go on to the next sweater, which I'm really excited about. I told you guys this would be my next sweater, so we're moving into works in progress. That was my only finished object. And yeah, okay, so you all know that I'm making the InStillness Sweater. I'll pop up a picture of it again for you guys. And this thing is flying. I don't know the difference between that one. I think this one's going faster because it's made out of a DK weight. They say it's a light worsted, but it really feels more like a DK. I wanted to do wraps per inch, but I just was so excited. When I was knitting that sweater, I made a swatch for this one. So as soon as that came off the needles last Saturday, I think I finished that last Saturday, I immediately Sunday I cast this one on, and I'm going to definitely put in a picture because I don't know what you guys are going to be able to see on screen because I am knitting this in black. So let me put this up close so you can see there's that ribbing texture at the top, and I've already separated for the sleeves, and then the neck up here, let me get closer, it seems to be easier for you guys to see because it's like black on black. You add on for the collar. So this looks a little uneven right now, but it'll all even out because you pick up stitches and you finish the collar off. It's just the way that you start this, that's the reason that has to be that way. So, yeah, so I'm using, I went down from the needles that are required. So let me give you some technical, I wrote these show notes so long ago that I didn't even start this InStillness Sweater. So the yarn I'm using is Miss Babs Yowza in the Obsidian colorway. The needles I'm using, she says to use a size 7 or size 6. I went down to a 6'5". And when I swatched, the 6 turned out best for the body. And then when I go down for the ribbing and then the collar, I will go down to a size 5. And I like that. I probably even could have gone down to a size 5 and gotten a little, excuse me again, a little bit tighter of a gauge. But I was right there on her gauge with the 6s. So, you know, when I went down to 5, I was right there too. It was like pretty close, but I felt more comfortable with the 6s. So that's why I went with the 6s. And then I'm using ChowGoo red lace. That's my go-to needles. I have these like in every size. And I don't have a progress keeper because I just started this last Sunday a week ago. And I've done this whole thing. So I'm really, really happy. I'm just trying to get this back so you guys can see how much I've done. And I've separated for the sleeves. And then I've got my little skull beginning of round marker on there. I got that at Vogue Knitting Live in January. I love it. And the hot pink and the black just goes so well together. And I'm really enjoying it. It's flying for me. I'm on the body. I'm just stockinetting it straight down till I get to the bottom. But I think when I finish, because I have quite a bit left. I have this much. It's a little bit messy because it is. But I still have 2 more hanks of the Miss Babs Yowza, so I have plenty of yarn left. But once I finish this cake of yarn, I'll probably work on the sleeves and then finish the body. That's how I usually like to do long sleeve sweaters. So, yeah, I'm really liking knitting it. I can't wait to have it. If I keep up this pace, I'll have another sweater pretty soon, so I'm pretty happy about that. Then, the next thing, my brother's knee socks got a little bit of love in the last few weeks, so I'm happy about that. So I'm at about 8 or 9 inches. You can see I only got a little bit done since the last time I talked to you guys, but it's getting there. So I'm almost, I guess I got another inch or 2 to go before I do the heel, but I can get there pretty fast. So that's what I really want to get to is the heel. But again, that is still not the front runner of what I want to do. and I'll talk about that in a minute. And then, sorry. This is in my Hook and Gauge bag. My InStillness Sweater is in my giant Mina Makes bag. And for my brother's knee socks, I am using Footsie this is Strasse. I wrote it down wrong. This is Strasse by Wool and Vine. Let me start. I told you I'm a little loopy today. Okay, let's start over again. I am using Wool and Vine yarns, Dirty on Purse. Oh my God, I told you. This is why I did not record any earlier in this, because that medication makes me really loopy, and my tongue gets really twisted. So at work, it's been a lot of fun. Let me tell you, I've had quite a few laughs with my coworkers. The socks are just a vanilla knee sock for my brother, and I'm using the Delicious knee sock as a base for the pattern so that I can figure out how to increase up the leg, but that's way down the road because I started this. I looked on my notes for this. I started this in December, so this is really I'm slowly making my way on it. It's not like I've given this up, but I go back to it every now and then, and I usually carry this around in my purse, so I usually don't knit on this at home, which I might have to, but the yarn is Wool and Vine, Dirty on Purpose, and it's in our Strasse base, and I'm knitting these on US size 1. That's a 2.25 millimeter needle. One is and they're both 2.25. So the Addy Turbos, you have to, if you're going to use two different color of cables, if you do two circulars, make sure you look in that the millimeters are the same, because US sizes aren't standardized like millimeters are. I mean, a millimeter is a millimeter, so you can't go wrong there. So I made sure I had both 2.25 millimeter needles, and then I got a little pipe, which I thought was like good for a man sock. All right. Whew, that was a tough one. Don't know why. Maybe I'm a little out of practice, but let me tell you, this maybe it's fun for you guys to watch. Okay. My next one is my beautiful shawl, and it is the Yowza Oates shawl number 4 by Susan B. Anderson. And I might have gotten a little bit further the last time I talked to you guys, but you can see I haven't gotten much further. There was a bit of a time with my back where all I could do was lay on my bed. So, you know, some things got done, some things didn't. So, and I'm using my Progress Keeper and front end to mark the front. The right side is my Deathly Hallows charm from Homespun House, the Harry Potter Club. And I'm knitting these on US 8 5-point millimeter red lace, and this looks like it's a 32-inch cable. And here is the Miss Babs Yowza in the, what is it? Beautiful Dreamer colorway. You can tell I haven't looked at some of this stuff in a while. And I wrote these show notes about a week ago. I thought I was going to be able to podcast last week, but that didn't happen, obviously. Sorry. And then that's that. And, okay. We'll just go to this one. This is just, I don't know how much I've had done. I don't even know if I showed you guys this or not, but I worked on my washcloth a little bit since the last time I saw you guys, so I'm just adding back and forth. I'm just doing a stockinette section, and I think I'm about ready from the looks of it, I'm ready for another garter ridge section. So this washcloth and then my brother's knee socks, they sort of alternate in between going into my purse, and that I am making. I've been over this before. This is, I keep forgetting to write this down. The orange is the Knit Picks, I think it's Dishy in the Clementine colorway maybe. I didn't write this down. I forgot to write this in my show notes. And then I think this is like Knit 2. I have something that I've bought that I can tell you what the other cotton yarn I'm using. And I think this is the Coral Sea colorway. And then this is in my lovely homespun project bag. I just really like this project bag. It's perfect for my washcloths. It holds, believe this little pouch really holds a lot of yarn in it. Then my last, I forgot to put that in. I'm gonna have some organizing to do once I'm done with this podcast. Okay, my final item that I have for you, and I have added a few squares to my Cozy Memories blanket. So, and I have a lot of ends to weave in. So let's do it this way. I've added just 2 squares. This one was minis from Mina from the Knitting Expat podcast. And I thought it was nice. They were just small, and I thought it was nice to marry the 2 together on the same square. And then this one is a mini that I bought for making the Cozy Memories blanket. I bought some heels and toes from Miss Babs, and this, I think this is the Morticia colorway. I have to double check, but that's that. And then I got the little one to keep the decrease, that helps me remind what the decrease size is. And it's a little safety pin, and I got that from Nicole Mendez. And I don't know what it is about the safety pins. I absolutely love them. They're just so cute. And then I've got all this and ends to weave in and stuff like that, and I just haven't felt like doing that. So nothing really new there. And then I'm starting a new square out of, it'll be easier to show you if I can find the ball of yarn. All right, it's buried in there. It's just a couple months ago I finished those Gilmore socks, from Spartacus Dye Works. They were blue and white. That's what the next color is going to be. All right, now that I muddled my way through that, I feel like I'm getting somewhere. Oh, the thing that's going on the needles. Okay, so I've got all the acquisitions, and then the next thing I want to talk about. The next thing I'm casting on this afternoon is a Voodoo You Love Me, another Voodoo You Love Me doll by Susan Claudino, and I'm making this for my nephew for his birthday, and it's a little late. So his birthday was yesterday, and with everything going on, I need to get this done, but I sent him some other goodies and some stuff, so he's got that, and then I think I'll have this done in a week, and I'll send that off to him. So I'm making it out of these sort of bright, fun spring colors, and I think it'll be nice, because I thought about making it out of this, because on screen this looked darker, but I just thought that looked too plain, and I thought this would be a much cuter little doll, and I can see the little, the XI and a little thing. I thought that would be super cute. All right, now I am moving into stash enhancements. Now, remember, I've been gone a month, so this isn't everything in like a week or anything that I got. So I went to several things. At the end of March, I went to, actually the day before I threw my back out, I went to the last weekend of Gauge Intention. That was the pop-up shop by Michelle Wong in Greenpoint, Brooklyn, and I love that space. I am really going to miss it. Michelle, I don't know if you watch this, but it was just such a great space. There's no place else in the city that I felt had that vibe to it. It was really nice. You could go in there and knit. People came in and out, and you chatted, and Michelle and Allison were so great, and the yarns she had there were just really unique. So I'm really going to miss it. I'm really going to miss it a lot, but I know it's time for her to look at other things. So thank you, Michelle, for providing that. And really, it sort of facilitated me starting this podcast journey. I wouldn't have met Kristen. She had her trunk show there. I think I have hair sticking up. She had her trunk show there, and I got to meet Kristen. I got to meet Jenny, Jacqueline, Mina, a bunch of other people. You all know who you are. So I've gotten to meet a whole bunch of you and in person and talk and knit, and it's just been great. It's really been great. So we're all still getting together, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. So that weekend that I was there, I bought, and I'd never seen this before, and I need to find more of this because it's called Clever Camel, and it's by Jones and Vandermeer, and it's 100% Curious Yarns. It's 110 yards, 50 grams, and it's 100% baby camel. And I just absolutely love it. It's showing up a little darker. It looks black on screen, but it's not. It's a really beautiful charcoal gray, almost tweedy, but it's not. You can sort of see. I don't know if you guys can see, but it's charcoal gray. It's not black. And I just love it. And it is so soft. It's a different softness than merino. It just feels different. I don't know how to describe it. Yeah. If I could have you guys feel it, you'd be able to feel it. It's really nice. And this is probably a DK. I'd say this is a DK yarn. So really pretty, maybe even worsted, but it says 5 to 7 needles. So it's really pretty. I really like it a lot. And then I got, I love skinny dipping. And they had this, and this is black. And it's her Journey Worsted and her Cease and Desist colorway. And that was the only hank they had left of this. So it's black. I like black. So I picked this up, and it could either be a hat or something, or edging on another project. So you never know. Then the last thing I got there was this Western Sky Knits. And I've really been wanting to try their yarn. So I think I got like 5 of these to make a sweater. And I don't know if you guys can see, it's got these, it's more purple. It looks blue in here, but it's not. It's purple with like black and white mixed into it with this tonal colors. It's really, really beautiful. And you can see it says the color is black and violet. And it's the Willow DK. It's 100% superwash merino, and it's 280 yards. So I believe maybe that's that's more the colors of it, but it's really beautiful. And I'd like to make a sweater out of this. And then if I don't, I'll see. I think I might have enough to do long sleeve, but I'm not sure. So this is one of the ones where I'll do the body and then weigh the yarn and figure out how much I have left for the sleeves. All right, so after that, I've been hunting for sock yarn from Hedgehog Fibers, and I've been wanting the graphite colorway, and I finally got it. Ta-da! And I'm going to make, this is one of the things I said I was going to do. I have a sweater, and I'll put that in here that I think I'm going to make out of this. And I have plenty. I have 4 hanks of this. This is Hedgehog Fiber sock in the graphite colorway. It's 100 grams, 400 meters, which means it's a little over 400 yards. And it's 90% superwash merino and 10% nylon. And this is what I made my other short sleeve sweater up. This is going to be long sleeve. These make such a lovely sweater. My 2 fingering weights that I've made so far that have been my favorite are the Vollenvine Volca and this Hedgehog Fiber sock. Has been my favorite fingering yarn so far for making fingering weight sweaters. They're just squishy and comfortable, and you just want to wear them all the time. Let me tell you, the Hedgehog Fiber one I made, I wear it all the time. I wear it to work. I wear it around, shopping, everything. That thing gets so much wear, which I think the Vollenvine, the one I just finished, is going to get a lot of wear like that too. So I'm really, really, really excited about that. I've been wanting that yarn for, 6 months or something like that. So I finally got it. And I've purchased that at Simply Socks Yarn Company. I just was going around to the different places that I knew sold Hedgehog, and I happened to find it. So I got that at Simply Socks Yarn Company, and it's a website. And I'll put that down there. So if you guys want to check it out, you can. Then I got my 3rd installment of the Homespun House Harry Potter Club. And this one is The Boy Who Lived and His Trusty Companion. I think that's perfect. I love that it's based on Hedwig, and you can, the white and the grays in there, and then there's just wonderful. Just absolutely, and the yarn is so soft. This is so incredibly soft. This is out of her baby alpaca fingering. It's 100% non-superwash baby alpaca, 400 meters, 436 yards, 100 grams, and this is lovely. Again, it's soft, like this is merino, but once you start using these fibers a lot, you can really feel the difference in the hand. Even though this is super soft, This just has a different like lushness to it. So it's really interesting. The baby alpaca is just beautiful. I don't know what I'm going to make out of this. Something really drapey. I can't wait to see what I make out of this. This is really beautiful. Then, okay, so I needed to buy yarn. So maybe at the beginning of this month, I knew my nephew's birthday was coming up and I ordered yarn for it. And when I was on, I bought this, which is, these are both Plymouth Encore Color Spun, and they're, I think they're acrylic and wool. Yeah, 75% acrylic, 25% wool. It's a worsted weight. It's approximately 200 yards, 100 grams. And I'm knitting it on I think I make my voodoo dolls, I think on size 5. This says suggests a size 8, but I'm a loose knitter. So I usually go down to a size 5 for those voodoo dolls just to get that nice tight gauge. Okay, this is the cotton yarn that I really like. It's a little bit more expensive than the Knit Picks, but their colors are really nice, and this is the one I couldn't remember that I was using in my washcloth. And this is Knit 1, Crochet 2, tie-dye. It's 100% cotton, 100 grams, and it's about 196 yards. This says it's color 248, but I believe I got this at yarn.com, Webs. I think it was called the watermelon colorway, and you can see why. It's got all these pretty colors in it, and it's got like I don't know if you can see in there. It's got like a light pink and a white, and it's got that pretty chartreusey yellow color to it, and I just think this is going to be a washcloth for me. If you don't know, this is like, I love this cotton, so this is definitely going to be a washcloth for me. So that's the only thing I make buy cotton yarn for. I haven't made a sweater or anything out of that. I really like knitting with wool. So maybe after I knit, I don't know, 100 sweaters, I'll be ready for a different fiber. But I just think this is going to be such a pretty washcloth. And if I have enough left, I'm going to make one for my niece because she's a pink girl like me. Oh, and with my homespun house, I didn't mean to forget this. She always sends progress keepers in with her monthly Harry Potter yarn kit. And I'm sure she's doing the same thing for her Jane Austen kit, which I missed both of the second sign-ups and the first sign-up. I don't know how that happened. I'm just kicking myself because I really, really like Molly's yarn a lot. And I love the colorway she comes up with. So for this one with the boy who lived and his trusty companion, I got a lightning bolt and an owl. And I really like that. So when she comes out with another club, I'm going to be on it. I don't know if I have to set an alarm or go like every day and look, but I'm really upset I didn't get into those 2 yarn clubs. But, you know, Maryland Sheep and Wool's coming up. So, all right. So I was browsing around on Etsy and I was looking for something else. And I came across, oh my gosh, I believe this is, I just got this last week and I didn't include it in my show notes, but I'll put it in on the website who I got this from. I believe this is Lavender Hills. She's an Etsy shop, and I've never gotten one of these slip bags like this. I forget what they're called. It's like a Japanese boho bag or something, and this color and pattern just absolutely spoke to me, and I had to have it. And then the inside I love because I'm a total Francophile. And I'm actually an Anglophile. I really like Britain and France. I really like both those countries. You can see it's got the Eiffel Tower, this beautiful toile fabric. And it's just nice and easy. And you put that in. And while I was there, I love seashells and the ocean and the beach and everything. It's something I really... and I used to collect shells when I was a kid. We used to go to the beach every summer. And, oops, so it stops shaking. And I don't know if you can see that. I'm trying to get it to the camera, but maybe not. Maybe it's better back here. Just a bunch of seashell progress keepers. It's the locking stitch markers. And they're just, I love them. They're really pretty. Go to her site, and I'll link that definitely in the show notes so you can see these. They're just beautiful. They're real shells. They're real shells. On top of everything else, I still have allergies. So there's these really pretty shells, and she puts a pin through it and has a little stopper there. Really pretty. You can't see them that well, but maybe I can take a picture or something. And I'll definitely link to her in the show notes. She was lovely, communicated with me, and I will definitely be buying from her again. I really enjoyed her shop, her prints, her stitch markers, and so this for me was a great buy. I just fell in love with the fabric. I had to have it. And last but not least, what I got, which was, I got a Mrs. Brown's bag. She gave this to me. I commented that I needed to get one from her, and she said she would send me one. And I was blown away. Absolutely blown away. I love Jody and Tracy. I watch the Grocer Girls all the time, and I was just absolutely so happy and surprised and thought that was so generous of her. And I told her I love the Lutz bags, and I do. I love that she made this. I mean, she actually knitted this swatch and photographed it. I mean, how brilliant is that? Just to photograph that and make fabric out of it, and then she has her own custom bags. It's absolutely lovely, and it's beautiful, and it's beautifully made, and she has these little, she put a hot pink tassel on, and she knows I like purple, and has a little tab here, and it's got pretty rose blue fabric. I like this teal blue too. That's another color I really like. Thinking about painting my apartment that color, but we'll see. That's like a dream. Well, this is a total tangent, but when I took some of those pills the doctor gave me for my back, one of them gave me insomnia and kept me up. And one night I was just sitting in my chair with my iPad and dreaming about what I could do with my apartment. So that reminded me of that. So I was up all night. One night, looking at artwork, looking at paint colors, looking at headboards, all the stuff that you'd like to dream to like decorate your personal space with. So I spent a night doing that, and that was actually a lot of fun. So it kept me from being frustrated. I knew I wasn't going to sleep, so I just put in a rerun of a TV show and just sat there and dreamed about my apartment. So it's better than going to sleep. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I knew there was no way I was going to sleep, so I just sat up and did something. I didn't feel like knitting, so I dreamt. And so thank you, Jody, for sending that to me, and I couldn't be more thrilled. And yeah, your stuff, I'll send you a note. Okay, so the last thing that I've got is I got some things to make sure my nephew got stuff on his birthday, since the voodoo doll wasn't going to be there. I mean, I knew what I was getting him before, but when I was sending his stuff to the house for his birthday, I've been wanting to get this book. I got Increases and Decreases, 99, and I have it's made by the same publisher, but Judith Durant is the author of the Increases and Decreases, and I can't remember who the author is of Cast On, Cast Off, but it's same format. The only thing that I was disappointed in Cast On, Cast Off, it tells you all the stuff in the front here and what page it's on, and I kind of wish they did that here, but that's the only negative thing I can say about this. It has everything you need to know about increasing and decreasing. And one of the things that I really like, this is paired double decreases and just one page, but one thing I really liked was it has uses, like when you should use that decrease or increase, and what its characteristics are. Like, what do you want? So if you're designing, and probably most of you who design patterns, I'm not designing patterns, but sometimes I get into a spot where, you want to switch something up a little bit, and I'm not necessarily writing a pattern for everybody to read, but I want to change something for myself. So I found this to be really something I was looking for, and I've been wanting it for probably a year now. So I finally got it, and I'm really happy I did. I'm really happy with it. I haven't read everything through it because I just got this on Friday, and but I flipped through it so I could talk about it, and those are a couple things I really liked. And it's got tons of pictures on how to do it, and then if some people can do, by photo, but it also gives you the name that if you want to do it a certain way, you can look it up on YouTube and be like, And I'm sure somebody on YouTube has a video of how they do that. So that's typically what I do. I find something in a book that I want to do, and I read through it, and then I'll watch the video as well to help me see what's going on and what their hand motions are like. Because pictures are great, but sometimes it's just nice to see what someone's actually doing and how they're moving their hands. So very happy I got this, and you can see this is the related title. It's the cast on bind off, and I have this one as well, and I really like that. So, and it wasn't that expensive, so I'm really happy I got that. Okay, I believe that is it for stash enhancements. Whew. Yeah, it's been a month. So, next on my list. Okay, so Maryland Sheep and Wool, I believe, I think it's like 20 days away or something. Maybe it's down to 19. Excuse me. The last time I checked. So, yay. I can't wait. I talked to my godmother and got things settled there. And I can't wait to go down. She can't wait to see me. And I can't wait to go to the Wool Festival. So, I will be at Maryland Sheep and Wool. That is, I believe, the 7th and 8th of May, 2016. And so I have that. And then I went to Gauge Intention. So in the last month, where have I been? Because it's been so long. I feel awful. It's been so long, but what are you going to do when you can't move? I went to Gauge Intention the closing weekend, which was bittersweet. It was so good to see Michelle, but so I went there. And then I went to the Brooklyn Roasting Company, the Knit Nerds. Was that last week or the week before? I think it was last weekend. I can't remember. We went to the Brooklyn Roasting Company, and we sat around and knit, and it was in the Flatiron District in Manhattan, which is about 23rd Street. And we had such a nice time. It was a really good space, I thought, for a knitting group, because we got to sit in the back, and there was about 10 of us there. So everybody knew I met. Hello, I'm not sure if you watched me, but it was really nice to meet you and chat with you. And just heard some stories. We just sat around a table, had coffee or tea and some munchies, and sat and knit. Excuse me again. I didn't stay that long. I stayed maybe about an hour and a half because I still wasn't feeling well, but I really wanted to go and see everybody and say hi. And it was really, really nice. I liked the space. And so I'm not sure when the next one's going to be. So if you're in the New York metro area and you'd like to join us, please check the Revelry group. I believe it is Knit Nerds, just New York Knit Nerds on Ravelry. And so hopefully I really had a fun time with who I saw there, and see you guys next time. And then I don't believe I've done anything else. Pretty much the last month I've been pretty much homebound. I go to work, I come home, I lay down, and I'm waiting for test results to find out what happened. I don't know if it's contracted muscles or something with discs. So I'm not sure. The next thing is I was thinking about the India Long. So the India Long, which is full, so it's the 17th and I haven't talked for a month, so it's terrible. It is Miss Babs Along, and I need to check the Ravelry group, which I haven't in a couple weeks. I did a couple weeks ago, and there were some really beautiful finished objects in there already. And then, so it's Miss Babs Along. I do a Indie Along every 2 months. I pick an indie dyer that I like, that I'm typically working with. So it's not something that I'm just talking about or featuring, but I do have a list of indie dyers I've either bought from or on my wish list, and I'll put those in the show notes. So there's a bunch of them. Some I haven't even bought from. So I am going to put that in the show notes. And then right now we're doing a Miss Babs Along. I'm making a Weighted shawl, and I'm working on the InStillness Sweater, which are both out of Miss Babs Yowza. And then next month, beginning of May, we're going to do, I believe, a skeiny dipping along. And I really like her yarn. I met her at Indie Untangled last year and she was just wonderful. The dyer behind that yarn is just absolutely delightful, and I really like her yarn a lot. She has interesting colors. I like her color names. I like the yarn. And even though I haven't knit with it, I've touched it a lot. So I have a bunch of her yarn that I cannot wait to dive into. And I believe I'm going to be making a cardigan out of that. A short sleeve fitted cardigan. So it'll be something that I can wear to work. Like a top. So it's a button up, but it'd be fitted like a shirt. So you can wear it. But it's nice and stretchy and moving. And it's a button up, but it's a knit button up. If that makes sense. I'll have to show you guys when I get there, the cardigan I'm talking about. Or maybe I'll just put it in the show notes or put a picture in here of what I'm thinking about. And then the Miss Babs Long, it began March 1st, and it runs to April 29th, 30th, somewhere in there. So keep checking it's the 30th and you think you've missed it. Maybe I haven't locked it yet. So if you're knitting away and you want to add it in, it probably won't go like that morning of the 30th or anything. I guarantee that. And then all the rules are on the Reverie thread. I have a Miss Babs along finished objects thread. And then the prizes are, I'm going to give away a pattern and a bag. So I'm giving away, Mina generously donated this to the podcast. It's her Mina Manx bag. And it's just lovely. It's a medium wedge bag, or I guess medium small wedge bag. And I love the little handle. So Mina makes wedge bag, and then I'm giving away her Highland. God, I can't believe I am so disorganized today. And I'm giving away one of her patterns. I believe it's the Highland shawl, and so I'll be drawing for that at the beginning of May, and I'll let you guys know who the winner is. And thank you, everybody who's put your finished objects in. I've been looking, and I need to look today to see what's been updated. But there's some really beautiful stuff. I love going into all the different project threads and seeing what people are knitting on. I think that's great. Which reminds me, I need to put in my finished object in Mina's sweater along. I totally missed the first quarter, but I've got my sweater that I finished, so I can put it in there. And there's a couple other, and I missed Kilda Crafts knit along because I just didn't get finished in time. Okay, and then I have my list of indie dyers I'm going to put in, and then okay, what have I finished reading? I finished. It's a totally light book, which was like perfect when I wasn't feeling well. It's called 7th Grade and No Body by Dorinda Jones. And it's just a fun series of books. I used to read Janet Ivanovich, the Stephanie Plum series years ago. And I always wanted to find a series of books that sort of was like that, sort of fun and a little bit of a mystery, but, nothing too heavy. And these are perfect. So if you just if you're on a beach this summer, or you're going away, or you just need a relaxing weekend at home and you just want to drink tea or lemonade or something and knit or whatever, these are just fun. They're easy to listen to, and she's quirky and she does a detective. And the first book is called, I'll put it in the show notes, but the author's Dorinda Jones, and I really like the series. And so I'm going to listen to 8. I think she has 9 out. But it's a fun series. She has a sidekick named Cookie, and they're just funny. And it's easy, and it's something you can just sort of enjoy. So those are some of the books I like when I just need to sit and relax, or, you can't concentrate on something. You just want to close your eyes and just, daydream or listen to a book, or, you know what I mean. The other book, if I finished another book, I thought I finished another book. This is terrible because it's been so long since I've talked to you. But I'm still reading listening to Pride and Prejudice and Zombies by Seth Graham Smith. And then I also started, and I was a little hesitant to do this because I didn't know if I could. For me, listening to a book's more intimate than watching something on screen. I do feel that distance on the screen, but for some reason, listening or reading, it just feels more, I guess because you're in your head and you're dreaming, and I don't know if you guys get this way, but you're reading, but the page goes away, and all you do is see the images in your head. You're reading, but you don't see the page. When you're reading, you're just seeing the images, and it's like watching a movie inside your head. I don't know if you guys do that, but the page melts away. I know this is common for a lot of people. And so I picked up Dexter, the second book, and because the first book was the first season of Dexter, and I knew what happened, and I read the end of the book, and the books are different than the TV series. The first season pretty much follows, there's some differences, follows the first season pretty much, and then the second book is where, in the second season, is where they sort of separate from each other. So I started with the second book, and I wasn't sure if I could listen to something like that, but I can. So if you're on the edge, I'm definitely not so if you're like me and you don't like Stephen King, I can't watch any of those movies, nothing. I saw one, The Shining, when I was little, and it scarred me forever. My older cousins had it on, and I don't know what they were thinking, but I love them. They did great stuff. But anyways, I saw that movie, and it's just terrible. I can't do it. Although, I think I've said this before, Stephen King wrote a book called Eyes of the Dragon, and it's a fantasy novel. Fantastic. He is such a good writer. And I wish I could read those other ones, but I just can't. They just stick with me too much. So I really don't read horror books. But I don't know if I guess Dexter is kind of in the horror genre, but sort of a mystery, but it's different. And it's sort of like, I don't know if the author intended, but sort of has that crime and punishment thing, where he's taken justice, you want to say that because it's, he's a serial killer, in his own hands. So it sort of has this crime and punishment-esque thing, if you've read that, to it. And then do I have anything else that I'm sort of... Then I've been actually listening. So besides books, those are the books I'm reading, and I'll put all those in the show notes for you. So skip ahead, which reminded me, this is a little bit same, but I've been listening to quite a few new podcasts, Audible podcasts, which has been nice because I haven't been wanting to listen to music in the morning, and I can only, the podcasts I listen to come out weekly, and I finish it that day. So I started Sarah at Yin-Hu's podcast, which I just really like that. Jacqueline from the Brooklyn Knit Folk recommended that one, and it was a great recommendation. I like her voice and her tone, and really liked that. I've been listening to some of her back episodes too, so really enjoyed that. And then I'm listening to Alana Dakos, Never Not Knitting as well. Love it. She has such a wonderful voice, and I even, she did a kit giveaway, and I signed up for it, so I'm really excited. I got the middle one. If you listen to her podcast, and if you go to Never Not Knitting, when I get it, I'll show you and explain more what it is. But if you go to Never Not Knitting, she has a shop, and it's really interesting. She has some stitch marker jewelry that I really like, but I just bought the kit that she put together, and it's like a surprise. You know the components are going to be in there, but you don't know what they're going to be. So I like that, so I'm really excited about it. And then, so those are the two podcasts that I've sort of started listening to. They're Audible audio, and they're on iTunes. And I'll definitely put those in the show notes, and I've really enjoyed listening to them. I've obviously caught up on all their recent ones, and every other day I do one back episode of the other one. And then I listen to the Knitmore Girls and Cultivate and Create, and a bunch of other ones. But so I'll go through all those new ones, and then when I get to finish with all the new podcasts that come out, I go through and listen to those back episodes. And if I don't, so I'll switch between a book and those, and it's really nice. So when I do a lot of rendering, coloring. It's really coloring, but it's rendering. I do a lot of rendering at my job, and when I get in that zone, it's kind of nice to have something to block out all the extraneous noise in the office, and I just get into a zone. Excuse me. And I'm able to just cruise through my work. So those are like perfect for that. And then I started putting together, I'm jumping back and forth between books and podcasts, but I've really wanted to put together like a couple of favorites. I don't know if anybody is interested in this, but I thought I'd put in the show notes, and I'll talk about them in a later podcast. But I sort of have my favorite list. Like, I've read fantasy, biography, history, fiction, literature, paranormal. I think that gets everything. And then I guess I could put cookbook or something in there. But those, I really do read a variety of books. I love a bunch of different subjects. I am definitely believe in lifelong learning. I believe anything you can do to encourage the brain to keep growing and not get stagnant, whether it's knitting. Knitting is actually really great for brain stimulation, especially when you pick up new skills and you're adding that. That's a really good skill. So knitting's like really great for that. And then I just really anything I can. There's so many things that I'm interested in, like science. I mean, just go through the school subjects in school. Not really a big math person, but I did watch a history on math, so that was interesting. Not really good at physics, but I like physics. I like the different laws of thermodynamic and how they apply to life and stuff like that. But I could never be one. So maybe I can listen and watch a documentary or read something on it, but I could never actually be one. I'm terrible at those two subjects. And then, so I really believe in lifelong learning. I'm going to, there are some sewing classes that I could take this spring, but they interfere with travel plans I have. So I'm going to Maryland Sheep and Wool at the beginning of May, and at the end of May for Memorial Day, I'm going to see my cousin in Traverse City, Michigan. I am so excited. I've never been to Michigan. I love my cousin and his fiance. They are just such great people. I've become really close with my cousin as we got older. We lived a little bit of far apart when we were kids, about an hour, 2 hours away from each other, which doesn't sound a lot like when you're an adult so you can see each other, but when you're kids, it just, I don't know, everything seems far away and take forever, and you just don't have that perspective. So I really can't wait to go and spend that weekend with them. And I've never been to Traverse City. I've never been to Michigan. It looks beautiful. I can't wait to visit the yarn shops. If anybody watches this and lives in Michigan, if you have any recommendations, I'm all for it. And they have this beautiful house in the woods, and their property, they've shown me pictures, is just gorgeous. So I'm really, really excited to do this. And I like going some places I haven't been before either. So especially in the United States, I don't think I take advantage enough, but when I vacation a lot, it's go see my family, and that's really important to me. When the kids are older or something, but when they're young, I really want to be there and see them. So, but I really am excited to see my cousin's fiance. So, those are some upcoming things that I have going on. And then, I think I might be done. I think I've gotten everything in. I think I've talked to you guys. And, so this is totally off topic because I made it yesterday, and I don't have it in my show notes or anything, so it's a little bit of a tangent. So, I made this called chicken curry in a hurry, and I had a rotisserie chicken. I love rotisserie chicken. I think it's so great. You can use it for everything. So I made a rotisserie chicken curry, and I don't like spicy hot, like the heat from peppers or chilies or anything like that. My palate's, I don't know if it's too sensitive or whatever, but even maybe a little bit of sriracha if it's tempered with something else, you know what I mean? But black pepper is pretty much spicy for me. So that's my palate. Anyway, so I found a really nice recipe, and you just layer in all these flavors, and it's really interesting. It's different than I've made curry before. Most of the curries I've made before have been more, I guess not cream based. They've been more like tomato based or a broth based something. I don't know I don't know a lot about Indian cooking or curries, but I like them. I love going to Indian restaurants. Tikka masala is like one of my favorite things. But I've never made anything at home, and I've really gotten into. I made a curry at Christmas, and I just made one yesterday, and I love them. And it was really easy. You just chop up an onion, and then for me, it didn't say in the recipe, but I added celery and carrots, and I put that in the bottom. I have a Dutch oven, so I put that in the bottom of the Dutch oven, and then they had say to add tomatoes, and so I deglazed the pan. It doesn't say this in the recipe, but this is what I did. I deglazed the pan with the tomato juice in the can, and then that helped soften up the carrots further, because those would take the longest to soften. So once I added that, it sort of helped the carrots absorb that juice and help soften that up. So I did that. And then I added curry powder, salt and pepper, and then you add in the tomatoes. So you add in like diced tomatoes, or I had whole peeled tomatoes just in my cupboard. So I just took kitchen shears, used to clip off herbs and stuff, and I just sort of cut those into the pan, and I sauteed that up. And then you add plain yogurt and then heavy cream. So I guess, I don't know if you can substitute heavy cream for anything, because the way heavy cream works, so I put in more yogurt than I did heavy cream. So, because it wasn't like enough of it in there, because I had some other, I used a whole rotisserie chicken, so I varied from the recipe a little bit. I'll put the recipe in the show notes, but I added yogurt and heavy cream, and then then I layered in, once I put in anything like that, I add more salt and pepper, because there's no flavoring in those things. Even though yogurt has a little bit of a tang, you have to season it. So I add that in, and then I put in the chicken. They said to add it after, but I added it in just to get flavor in there. And then I let that simmer for a little bit, and it turned out so good. And then I buy Uncle Ben's rice in a bag, because for me it's just easier. I cook mostly just for myself. So you have a bag of rice, you put it in the pot, you bring it out, you don't have to measure anything, and you tear open the package, and it's done. So it even works for two people, because then you don't have to worry about cooking too much rice. I don't like leftover rice. It gets hard and gross. So that's why I like the Uncle Ben's in a bag, because it's usually about enough for a serving or two, depending on how much rice you like. I get 2 servings out of it personally, and it was delicious. It was one of the most wonderful curries. And you can add things like chilies, like at the beginning, if you wanted to add peppers or chilies or something to the that mirepoix, and spice it up, or add Tabasco or sriracha or any of those things into that. It was just lovely. It was easy to make. It was one pot. Most of the work was chopping up a few vegetables, which is like nothing, and then tearing apart the rotisserie chicken. It was so great. I'll put it in the show notes if anybody's interested, but I really like that a lot. And it'll definitely be something I make again. I really like one-pot meals. I like having leftovers. I know not everybody likes leftovers, but for me, it's easy. Like, I can come home from work, and I froze a little bit of it, so I have it in the freezer so I don't get sick of it. So I took half of it. I put it in Tupperware or Gladware containers, put it in the freezer, and it'll keep for a couple weeks. And when I feel like having that curry again, I can just pull it out. So that's something I really like doing. And then I started Blue Apron again, and I had their pork chops and mashed potatoes, and there was something else, but it was really good. Very easy. I like when they give the easy meals, because it's something you can come home and cook in like 30 minutes. Sit down. When I come home from work, I really want to get to my knitting. That's the first thing that comes to mind. I want to take off my work clothes, get dinner done, and I want to get to my knitting. That's what I want to do. That's my first thing. That's one of the reasons I like leftovers, because I have it done. And I like leftovers because I've made it. I'm not ordering takeout all the time. I know takeout isn't available everywhere, but it is in New York. You can get takeout anything. I mean, anything. Any type of food. I can't think of one. The only thing I can think of, and I wish they had it because I like it, Ethiopian food, but they probably haven't. There's probably somewhere I can order from. It's just something I haven't ordered. I mean, when I say everything you can get delivered, everything. So it's nice to be able to cook for yourself. You can control salt and what you eat and the type of ingredients you get, and, cook with fresh vegetables and it's something I really enjoy, and I love cooking. I grew up cooking, so all right. That was my little recipe and my little chat. You can tell I've really missed talking to you guys. I've it sucks that I threw my back out or whatever happened. I'm not sure. I herniated a disc 4 years ago on my neck. It doesn't feel that way, so it may just be a pop out. So I'm not sure. So I'm waiting to find out. Anyways, obviously I'm doing much better. I can sit here and talk to you. And hope everybody's doing well, and hopefully I'll see you in a couple weeks. I'm not sure what procedure or anything I have to go through, so that I find that out later this week. But hopefully I'll keep you guys up to date, and hopefully I'll see you in a couple weeks. And happy knitting, everyone, and see you soon. Bye.